Hello there, Azer here, and back with another video. This time I want to talk about Light Strike. Basically, this is like a side mini game that is currently available for everybody to play now. I know I'm a little bit late to the scene because this game is, just a side game, but a lot of people actually have received this update pretty well. Better than I expected, actually. You see, back in the old days of PSO1, back in the Dreamcast, there is this third episode that they actually released on the original PSO, which is called Episode 3 Card Revolution, and I think it was actually received extremely like mixed reviews or something because the player base is actually kind of split in between like, oh, I would love to have a continuation of the first and the second episode, but at the same time there's also another side where they actually like that, the PSO team actually decided to do something different completely from just doing the same old gameplay over and over again. But unfortunately, back then the experiment didn't actually went very well because that was the most famous episode for PSO, I guess. But truth to be told, however, we did not expect it to come back into the future sequel like 20 over years later, which is this game mode called Line Strike. Now, of course, it is much more simpler in terms of like the graphical fidelity and stuff like that. It's much more akin to those Final Fantasy card games, I guess, where you actually fight the NPCs and so on, collect a deck of cards, etc., etc. It's similar to that classic card game mechanics, I suppose. But the difference here is that this one is actually pretty quick to play. Now, the good thing about this game and the bad thing about it is that, well, firstly, it's going to be a very, very quick game because for the most part, if the card layout is only like 9 slots, you can only put so much cards on the deck. Unless you're prioritizing, maybe if you're playing expertly and waiting for your opponent to, take out their card and place their cards, maybe the game will take a little bit longer. But overall, I believe if you were to just play it casually, I think the games are not exactly that long. It usually just ends in like several minutes, if I'm not wrong as well. But it really depends on how expert the two players are. But in the end, it's a very, very cool and casual side activity that I believe everybody just like to play. Some people even completed like the whole 100 wins title or something, which is completely insane, to be honest. But I can see that's possible if you decided to just play the card game the whole day, I guess. But for me, I don't really see myself doing that. But on a short burst of occasions when I actually play it, it's actually pretty good. So, there's that. And to be honest, I'm really, really surprised that the whole community actually accepted this because there was concerns about like if the game is going to be pay to win or not because it's relying on your card decks and everything. But I guess since we can actually get vouchers from just earning titles and maybe doing tasks and from the codes that they provide to us, I believe in the future it's going to be much more easier to procure the card vouchers for you to scratch more of the cards that you can actually get in the future because the titles are exponentially just going to give you a full 10 pulls if you win like a certain milestone, I guess. But it's very nice that when you are, even if you lose the battle, you can still win some vouchers back, and it's going to actually increase the chances of you getting the card that you wanted to build the deck of your dreams to actually best your opponents. And from what I've played, I just realized that the game is actually kind of like pretty well balanced. But I believe the reason why they actually sporadically, do some very weird stuff is because sometimes if you can predict a card's movement or where is the best placement of a certain card is, it might be actually a very good idea to actually anticipate where the enemy is going to place their cards, or anticipate what a card would do before, you know, placing it. And it's the key strategy is to just out bamboozle the enemy, and by placing like cards that they did not expect. But the problem here is, of course, at one point, if everybody have managed to, you know what kind of cards the opponents might play, this might cause a much more of a debate and a discussion of what kind of a meta is going to beat what kind of meta. But for now, everybody is still experimenting, so it's actually pretty fun to actually enjoy the game as is now. And since not everybody is going to get like the perfect set of decks per se, you're going to be fine even if you're using the starter deck that they actually provided for you from the start. Just do some practices with the NPC until you are comfortable enough to fight against real players in both the unranked and the ranked modes. But other than that, I think so far, I did not expect a side activity to be such an enjoying experience, I guess. And unlike a lot of other game modes like the continuous repeating of like limited time quests, finally something fresh is for us to play here. And I'm really glad that the community actually has a very positive vibes just playing this game. So in the future, definitely we're going to see more cards as well, especially NGS character cards, definitely. And hopefully we can also get like Idola cards as well, because I think there's a whole bunch of their lores and histories and artworks being used that is going to be left to become like useless items if they don't use the art back. So maybe in the future we can get those as well. That would be pretty cool. And that's it. If you enjoy the game, you can probably just play it on burst and maybe don't like burn yourself up unless you wanted to grind for the best decks areas. And good luck on your rolls for the holos as well. And that's all for my video. I don't really want to create like a strategies or meta video, because I think those are probably best left for the expert card players, I suppose. For me, I just love that this is a very well received new game card. New card game that was accepted by the community. And that's it. Sayonara.